If you live under a rock, you will not know that there was a TikTok ban in the US which lasted approximately 12 fucking hours. And I knew, as several people did, for example Frank Alvarez, that's my man. The Greeks, we stick together. That wasn't gonna last. It wasn't gonna happen for many reasons. I mean, starting off with the fact that literally illegal. Literally reduction of free speech. But anyways, I digress, because that's not my point today. My point today is that this was very clearly a political ploy. I actually think the way that this went down is more dystopian than I thought it was gonna be, because I knew for a while that this was a political ploy. I think eventually everyone understood that, and yet no one's gonna do anything. And you know, I think Americans are slowly but surely coming to the realization that yes, they live in an oligarchy. If you don't know what oligarchy is, I'm going to read you the definition right now. Oligarchy definition: a small group of people having control of a country or organization, aka billionaires, the rich, okay? The 1%, by definition, the 1%. So, if you're new here to me, you may not know, I consider myself left. I don't know, I'm not extreme anything. I'm just here for human rights, and we all should be. And I hate people who are far right. Factually, I just do. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'm not someone who takes a neutral position. I fucking hate people who take a neutral position. I think that is stupid and privileged, and I don't like you. So, putting that aside, because it's not about that. It's not about, I hate Republicans, I hate Tories, because I do, but it's not about that. The issue with the TikTok ban is how it went down is very scary, and Americans should be worried and concerned about the way that this will be used to manipulate them. And I'm not trying to Leo Skeppy you. I'm not trying to be like, it's going down, you know, and scare the fuck out of you. If you know me, you know I fucking hate people who fearmonger. I really fucking do. But I do think this just is a big red flag waving in the Americans' faces, and y'all have got to do something, okay? So here's the notification that went up when it got shut down, and to cut it short, it basically says you're not allowed on TikTok at the moment, but Donald Trump is trying to bring it back for you. Okay, since when has this man liked TikTok? Let's think. In the last week, a lot. In the last, 8 years, not at all. So we already knew it was fishy. Then, again, under 12 hours later, comes back and there's a welcome notification, almost identical to the shutting down notification. And it's saying, big thank you to Donald Trump, this, that, and the other. He brought it back, even though he's not yet in power as of when I'm filming this. Which is dark and scary in and of itself, but also just tells me that they assume Americans are just thick, and, you know, as an outsider, fair enough. But I would be offended in that scenario, because if you could do it 12 hours later, what was the difficulty in doing that 12 hours before? There wasn't. I then saw a girl on TikTok. I will try to find it. I don't know if I saved it or even liked it, but I should have. It was this German girl who was talking about how this is identical to what Hitler did. And it's just, they'll take one thing and they'll do it for the people, and the people will be manipulated easily into thinking, okay, cool, like this is what I want, so fine, you can be in power. And then as soon as they are in that power, very quickly starts to go downhill. Since when has Donald Trump, since October 7th, 2023, wanted a ceasefire? Let me count on my 10 toes and my 10 fingers. 0. Until it happened. So he's knocking down all these points that he knows the majority want. The majority love TikTok. It's actually a great place for education. It's, you know, it has its sincere cons, okay, like every social media app does. But the majority love it and the majority want it, okay? And a lot of people's livelihoods are at stake because there are so many content creators. And, you know, I literally had just gone to the creator program like 2 days before the ban. I was like, fuck. Awful timing. Thank you, by the way, if you're here from there. Thank you. I'm so like pleased with how well my TikTok's been doing at the moment. So yeah. And then in the same week, there's a sudden ceasefire that Donald Trump has encouraged. There's a video I watched this morning. My dad actually put it on. He watches a lot of stuff like this. I think it was by someone on YouTube called Greg's Economics. This dude talks a lot about money and finances and you know, things like that. It's not really a political account, I don't think. This is the video, and this video talks about Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is as much involved in all this fucking bullshit as Donald Trump is. And not just because Donald Trump is like gonna put him into the politics of America, like as a literal fucking member of the political system in the US, but just because he is the 1% of the oligarchy. And this video sums up pretty much why this is a problem and how this does affect the normal person. The 99%, right? And I really recommend watching that to understand my points, because I'm not as eloquent as that, and also I don't have those facts, you know, like about finances, about all these things that this guy really knows about. However, I'm on the human rights side of things, okay? I'm on the liberation side of things. I don't know what phrase you want to fucking use. I just think that it's terrifying that the biggest first world country in the world is ran under an oligarchy, and the majority are unaware and also very easily manipulated. Something like a TikTok ban, in my personal opinion, would never happen in the UK. It simply wouldn't. It just wouldn't. Not even for the reasons that the US were claiming it was about. It just wouldn't happen. Okay? I'm saying that at a time where we have a leader who's actually trying to do shit. He's not my favorite person in the world. I don't think he's anyone's favorite person in the world. But we are ran by the lesser of two evils, by a party that cares more about the majority than the party previously. So we're lucky in that sense. But still, even under the fucking Tories, I do not think there's anything like this would have happened in the UK. Also, I say that because the UK, like the majority, the people, we're not very easy to manipulate. And I love that about us. I think that's very cunty slay. I think also it shows that having the current party that we have shows that we actually can manipulate them back. If you are not from the UK, you probably won't know about what happened last year. We had a vote, and our vote is fucked, but not as fucked as the US votes. The voting system is so messed up over there, it genuinely drives me nuts. Again, it's an oligarchy, but anyways, I digress. What the UK people did is we all transpired to do a tactical vote, which means we all voted for one party, knowing that they would get the majority because we wanted the other party out. So even if we didn't support the party that are now leading, we knew they were the lesser of two evils, and we came together as a country for the most part, not all of us, but for the most part, and kicked that other party out. I think that's why I have faith in this country to a degree, okay? To a degree. That we're not as manipulatable as America is, which has been shown over the decades, but it shows more and more and more as time goes on. I think also because we have that exposure to social media that is showing us that. So my point is, I don't think this would have happened in the UK. TikTok is already banned in other countries. So it's not like, America is the first to do it. It's not the most horrifying act of all time. But it is the beginning of something rather dystopian. Now, as someone who has family in America, LA is like my second home. I love it so much. My life is like centered around that place, and my family over there are my favorite people in the world. So whilst you've got the LA fires, and I've got my family being evacuated, you've got Donald Trump blaming the female black mayor, and simultaneously bringing back TikTok and encouraging a ceasefire in Palestine, all in the same week. That shit here wouldn't fly, so it's baffling to me how it does in America. But my point is, I think people thought that getting rid of TikTok was a ploy to silence people, and I don't think that was the case. I can understand why that was a thought, but I don't think that was the case. I think the entire point of it was to manipulate you, to also show you, not only is he trying to be like, look, I'm the good guy, and then he's gonna fucking nuke Russia or some shit. Fucking so dark. But he was also showing you, I have control. I have control over you. I have control over the things that you want. I have the power to do the things that you want me to do. I can do them at any point in time. I just choose not to because I don't care about any of you. But I'm going to do it now, just before I come in, because I want the people on my side when I nuke Russia. It's so dystopian to me, and it's scary. And I don't often talk about I don't have videos dedicated to politics, not because I don't want to, because I do. That's who I am. I've always been very political. I remember when I was younger, when you're young, you want to be fucking everything under the fucking clouds, do you know what I mean? under the sun. Why did I say clouds? You want to be everything under the sun. I wanted to be a vet at some point. You know, I went through my phases, but there was a this is so embarrassing. There was a genuine time where I was like, I'm gonna run for Prime Minister and I'm gonna win and I'm gonna do real well. I was like fucking 12, okay? No, younger. I was like 9. But I think that it's so inherently in me, and it's starting to also affect everything around everyone. It's not just Americans being affected. Like I said, I had just gotten onto the creator program, and then the Americans got banned. And it's like, I wouldn't be able to make as much money now had that ban remained. But I'm not talking about it because it's affecting me, because it's really not in comparison to other people. I'm talking about it because, one, like I said, it's inherently in me. I'm a very loud person. I am very deep in my beliefs. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should, first of all. Why aren't you? And if you do, you'll know that I've always been very political, very loud about it. So this isn't new. But I think because that it's starting to affect more people, everybody is talking about it a bit more. I knew the concept of an oligarchy. I think most people do, but I didn't hear that word until recently. And putting a word to something like what's going on right now, I think is integral, because we need to have the vocabulary to talk about the restrictions at play at the moment and what's going on. So whilst you might think you're not an American, this doesn't affect you, blah, 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 I notoriously hate Americans. It's the one thing stopping me from living in LA, seriously. If Americans didn't exist, I'd be living in LA in a split second, okay? But I think that these conversations need to be had. I've always used my platform for the right things. And so if I have American followers that have never heard of an oligarchy, who have and didn't realize that this is what they are literally living within, it's important to have these conversations and have that vocabulary. So you're probably watching this thinking, okay, well, now that I know, you know this, I know this, now that I know this, blah, 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 what next? The answer to that is complicated. Factually, it is. It's just complicated. Realistically, there needs to be like a coup in America. You need to come together and you gotta fight to feel your right to party. Okay, enough. I fucking love that song. But you do. That's ultimately what it comes down to. We saw what a worldwide boycott did to businesses like Starbucks. They lost billions. We can do that to individuals. We factually can do that to individuals. It takes time, and that's fine, but it's better to start now than never. I also, as a non-American, don't have the resources that I would love to have to share. But if you know them, then please let me know, and I will share them. It's a scary time. It's a scary time in general, but especially to live in America, in my opinion. And it's a scary time to be on social media, because everything's either fear-mongering or, TikTok's probably going to turn into a propaganda app now, no matter how much you mute and block and whatever. So in general, like I said, it's a scary time. And I think that as individuals, we just need to take more action. It's easier said than done, but I think it's integral. Living in America actually must be so overwhelming. Like, thinking about it freaks me the fuck out, seriously. Anyways, to end this video here, we need to educate ourselves. We need to gather resources. We need to educate others that we can. We need to increase access. We need to use social media. Even if you don't have a platform, you need to use social media these days, because it is the one thing that we connect worldwide on and can talk about these things on. And we need to find ways to take action against the 1%. It sounds like a fucking revolution. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it has to be at this point, because it's gotten so bad, but yeah. Stress for Americans and the whole world. So yeah, let's talk more about these things. Let's not be stupid and privy to oligarchies and the 1%. Like, our fucking equivalent was Rishi Sunak and that fucking little rat-looking bastard from Flushed Away. We flushed him away. So I need you guys to start doing the same, okay? Please. Anyways, much to think about. Interesting topic of conversation. If you like these essay style videos, let me know, because I've really been in the talking mood, if you can't tell. I love you guys lots. I will see you in the next video. Follow me on TikTok. Make America angry by following me on TikTok. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.